Hi everybody. Today I would like to talk about the cancer. Uh, you all are very aware what is cancer and how the cancer is being caused. So in this video I'd like to talk basically on the what are the different types of cancer, how the cancer is being caused, and we'll also see what are the different preventive measures of the cancer. So uh, in the earlier video I have talked about HIV/AIDS. We also know that cancer is being caused by the virus. That is what is very common between the HIV virus, HIV/AIDS, and the cancer. So cancer is a disease caused by a virus, or it is also triggered by certain other abnormalities. Let's look at some of the common cancers like mouth cancers, lung cancers, breast cancer, prostate cancer, cervical cancer, brain cancer, lymph node cancer, and there is even the blood cancer. So uh, these are some of the common cancers we heard of in our community, people talking about. So let's know how this is being caused. What are the causative agents? So in order to understand the causative agents, we must understand what is cancer itself and what are carcinogens. So carcinogen is anything that can cause a cancer. Carcinogen is anything, any substance that can cause cancer. And cancer is a disease in which abnormal body cell abnormally the body cell divides out of control. The most carcinogens causes cancer by inducing mutations. So cancer isn't just an abnormal cell division that happens in our body, and most often the cancer is being caused by the mutations of gene, and that will lead to ultimately uncontrolled cell division. So because of this uncontrolled growth of the cells or the multiplication of the cell, that leads to a formation of tumors, malignance, or ultimately leads to cancer. So what are the causative agents? Causative agents, the bullet number one, if you look at it, the carcinogens are either pathogens. Pathogen can be bacteria, virus, fungus, or any other germs, or the chemical substance, any chemical substance that we consumes or we are comes across, or we often use. So or the chemical radiations. So these carcinogens are all the times are present in the nature, and therefore it can affect at any time. For example, some of the viruses are important carcinogens, as cause as much as 15% of all the human cancers are because of the virus. So we have already written that there are human papillomavirus that causes cervical cancer in the female, hepatitis B virus that can cause liver cancer, and Epstein-Barr virus can cause cancer of lymph node. So virus is one of the causative agent. The chemical substance is another. The radiations is the third one. So the causative agents are all the times are found around us. A natural carcinogen include ultraviolet radiation from the sun. UV radiations is leading cause of the skin cancer. Main cause of skin cancer are because of the radiation from the sun. Therefore, people often use the sunscreen or the umbrella to protect their skin. So there are some of the dangerous radiation that comes from the sun. So especially when there is a Habersham sign, we need to be very careful. The natural element like radon is also a radioactive gas that step into a building from the ground. See, some of the radioactive substances are really, exposed to our the buildings where we stay, and as a result, no, these radiations cause some damage in our body cells, and that causes again the cancer. Asbestos is the mineral previously used for the insulations and the many other purposes. Today it is largely banned because of its link to cancer, because this asbestos present especially when there is a, they use for a ceiling, the protection to especially we try to put for as a ceiling. So therefore this asbestos is quite lately known, this cause cancer. Humans are exposed to many different types of artificial carcinogens in the environment. Like you and I have seen people smoking, we have also seen the people chewing tobacco, people taking doma or the betel nut. These substances are artificially people try to use for their pleasure, but however they have a certain chemicals which will actually affects the cells and ultimately results in the abnormality, and finally it results to a cancer. For example, the carcinogens called acrylamide forms when carbohydrate, this is a carbohydrate, C is missing here. Carbohydrates are cooked at a very high temperature, and such foods, particularly the French fries and then potato chips, are very dangerous because it contains acrylamide, which is a carcinogenic. It affects the cells and ultimately leads to cancerous cell. So what it does then? What it does? How was it occur? How the cancer is occurred? Carcinogens generally cause a cancer by inducing mutations in the gene that controls the cell divisions or the other aspects of the cell cycle. So generally the causes of cancer by the mutations in the gene that controls. So which means you all know in the cell divisions, both the mutation and mitosis, there is a very very controlled cell division. This is because of the certain gene that is specifically responsible for controlling the abnormal cell division. In the mitosis there are 4 daughter cells are formed, whereas in the meiosis 4 daughter cells are formed, but they are haploid. So this is being totally controlled. So these controlled is being brought about by the tumor suppressor gene and the proto-oncogenes. So there are 2 types of genes that controls the abnormal cell division. All right. The tumor suppressor genes are the gene that can repair the DNA damage or prevent cells with badly damaged DNA from dividing. So these tumor suppressor cell knows if any of the cells is being any of the cells DNA is being damaged or destroyed by the radiations or the carcinogens or the even by the chemicals, exposure to the chemicals, or by the certain pathogens, then such cells are not allowed to divide further, and that is how the tumor suppressor genes regulates to control this control the damaged cells to multiply. If the tumor suppressor genes is being mutated if the gene is being mutated and no longer able to control the cell division of damaged DNA cells, then what happens is, although the cell DNA is damaged by the radiations, damaged by the carcinogens or the pathogens, but since the T suppressor gene is being mutated, as a result there is no control. So the cell will continue to multiply, and then it keeps on growing and keeps on growing. So what you have to understand is the play of tumor suppressor cells, suppressor genes, that regulates the normal DNA repair and prevent further division of DNA damaged cell. If T suppressor genes gets really mutated, then it doesn't control the cell divisions of a damaged damaged DNA within the cell. So this results in the further proliferations and divisions of damaged DNA cells. Now, tumor, initially the cell division, when the cells grows uncontrollably, that forms a tumor that shows some growth, some bulge, some abnormality, some mass of a tissue which keeps on growing. The tumor maybe binds, or the malignance, it doesn't give a pain, so people doesn't feel much of a trouble. Tumor may be a bind, or the malignant. Bind tumors remain localized and do not harm the health. So if tumor remains in a same place and continue to divide, such a tumor doesn't affect much, because it doesn't harm much. But there are certain tumors which grow to a certain limit, and then it gets detach and move the tissue. This abnormally dividing tissue goes to elsewhere and starts growing in other parts of the body, and this is called metastasis, which will continue to grow, and then it becomes very big. As a result, this brings a lot of destructions of the neighboring cells, and then that results in the abnormal growth of cells, and that causes quite abnormal pains, and then we are going to see quite abnormal growing in that ultimately leads to the tissue damage. Okay, and then types of cancers are normally classified by the type of tissue where it begins. So carcinoma, a type of tumor that grows, carcinoma is on the epithelial tissue such as lungs, on the skins, and sarcoma tissues are normally tumors connect in the connective tissue such as bones, bloods. Lymphoma is a tumor of lymphatic tissue such as T cells or the B cells that goes in the especially or the lymph nodes. This is normally present in the immune system. Treatment is cancer may be treated with the combinations of the surgery. Today you know that there is a chemotherapy or the radiations. They use quite a strong radiation to break all those, destroy all those cells which are growing abnormally. When they destroy the genes, and that finally results in the total destruction. So sometimes it helps. Cancer maybe even they try to surgery. Doctor also cut those tumors which is growing. But the danger is if any part of it remains in, again it continues to grow. That is the risk. Today chemotherapy is also being used for the same treatment. Now what are the different ways of prevention? We can prevent this cancer as I have earlier talked to you, one is our own lifestyle, lifestyle of food, smoking habits, doma chewing habits, tobacco chewing habits, and then to your sexual life. And if you are not eating proper food, properly cooked food, and also we need to understand the UV radiations. We should not be exposed too much on the radiations. Radiation can be, you know, can be sun radiations, or it can be from the natural elements, radioactive elements that also have the radiation that destroys the genes. Avoid specific carcinogenic materials and maintain a healthy lifestyle. We need to avoid such kind of fried foods which has been prepared at a high temperature. Reduce the risk of cancer by being active, eating low-fat diets, and maintaining normal weight. So these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. We need to avoid those all smoking, tobacco chewing, sexually transmitted. You should be a little bit controlled. Be committed to your partner, a single partner. Should not go for multi partners for the sexual activities. So another is we need to be careful about the radiations. Think about when you are working under the Havitian sign, and also know about the natural radiations from the elements, especially when we are visiting different industries and factories. So yeah, there are certain things that we can avoid, and that's why there are certain preventive measures of the cancer. That's the reason that many people don't suffer from the cancer. However, even if there are, people can treat it through surgery, chemotherapy, and radiations. Thank you. I hope I have made clear to you what is tumor, what is cancer, what is carcinogens, and how they are caused.